Uh, Listen, growing up in the 70s in Winnipeg with a British family that's got the values and the stoicism and the don't talk about personal things and keep quiet and be good. And I was none of those. I was often getting in trouble in school. I remember Sister Simone, one of my teachers, yelling at me, "Maudit tête vide, sors de ma classe et reviens plus jamais!" Damned empty head, get out of my class and never come back. Ah, memories. Dad had stuff going on too. I mean, it'd be 10 years until he would come out of the closet. And I didn't know that, right? If I'd known, maybe I would have showed a bit of empathy. Maybe I would have understood, but I didn't. And so I tormented him. My goal in life was to make his life miserable. He would come home at the end of the day and wanted to be just relax and talk about his day and get it all off his chest. And my goal was to sit there and undermine the conversation and made him hate being at the table the whole time, and he hated every second. And I loved it. But I had stuff going on as well. I guess I wasn't entirely clear on this, but I was pretty angry. I had a lot of bubble. I was like a cauldron of bubbling anger at times. And it may have to do with the fact that at 9, my sister died in front of me. We never, ever spoke of it again. Nah, that had nothing. Fast forward to my wife, Lynn, and I having 3 teenage daughters. I mean, they're fabulous. We've got Marion, who's this determined, hardworking person. She would finish high school valedictorian in her class. And then you have Charlie, who's in the room tonight, thank you. Charlie, who's with us. This vibrant, creative mind, always able to find the right thing to do. I mean, she could follow instructions, The teacher would say, draw something, a bucolic landscape, and Charlie could do that. She's such an artist. You see the beautiful forest with all the details, and you feel like you're really present in there. In the middle, she's put some sort of a cavern that you realize is a vagina. Oh. Always pushing the limits. Good for you, Charlie. Keep it up. Keep it up. And then you have Juliet. Okay, so she's our third. By grade 8, she's had 7 years of stomach pains. And it's chronic, it's ongoing. She copes with it in lots of different ways. She throws herself into writing a novel, which goes well. And she also watches a lot of Gilmore Girls. Anybody who, if you're not a Gilmortal, I'll just kind of fill you in here. Rory is the main character. And like Juliet, she's super bright, but she doesn't have the money to go to a prestigious private school. And then she does, and she's super happy. And then she's sad. And then she's happy again for 7 seasons. It's fantastic. TV drama, you gotta love it. So this inspired Juliet to go to private school herself. We had no input to this whatsoever, okay? She decided I'm gonna research, and I'm gonna find scholarships. And sure enough, she found one in Port Hope, Ontario, Trinity College School, TCS. And they had a full 4-year scholarship that they just happened, coincidentally, that year to create for a grade 9 student, girl, and she got it. And she was so happy, and then sad, and then really happy again for 4 years. Teen drama. I had a wee bit different trajectory myself. But eventually, my second to last year, my father happens to see there's a scholarship to Ashbury College in Ottawa. And I'm excited because I want out of this house. And so, I want to go for this. It's for a French student. And I give my best, but another student, Francis, gets the scholarship because he's a francophone, and he can fill in the answers to questions like, doux comme la soie, soft as silk. I wrote, doux comme la Vierge Marie, soft as the Virgin Mary. In hindsight, I think it's a wee bit problematic that I thought that something could be as soft as a virgin. But, yeah, so I didn't get that one. But it just happened that that very year, they created a 2-year scholarship for a boy in grade 12, and I got that one. So I was in. and immediately overwhelmed. Immediately I realized I'm out of my depth. I'm in a school where people use big words. They use words like imperialism and Keynesian economics and Roman Catholicism. I mean, I'd heard of Catholicism before. What's Roman Catholicism? Do you have to live in Rome only to be a Catholic? No idea where we're headed with this. And I was immediately overtaken with the amount of work and how it was going to go. So it was not a happy period. So then along came Lisa Kaiser. Lisa Kaiser, I remember her coming into the room. There's a whole bunch of different students and new students. And she comes through, and I see this vision. And I think, wow, she's beautiful. She's got long hair. She's got this quiet confidence about her. She's wearing a mesh shirt that's transparent. And when the silhouette catches her eye, it took my breath away. Wow. But I was overwhelmed with school. I had become prefect, which means you're involved in all things discipline. And I was having way too much work and not able to keep up, so I was a ball of tension. But Lisa wasn't. We laughed and talked, and we took a bit too much comfort in each other's arms, I have to admit. And we found out you weren't allowed to sleep together on campus. I mean, there's so many rules to follow. Get to class on time, do your homework, don't sleep with Lisa Kaiser. How are you supposed to keep up, people? Am I right? And of course, we got caught. We got kicked out of school. I know. And it's 8 a.m., and I remember the headmaster, Ducky, we called him, he calls me into his office. He says, "Your conduct is unbecoming of an Ashbury student. You're expelled. Go to your room." And I should be thinking, like, the tragedy of this. I've lost a scholarship. I'm going home. But what am I thinking about? It's 8:15 now. And at 8:15, every day, someone of the students reads from the Bible. And today, in chapel, everyone congregates in the chapel, and someone reads from, and today's my day. You know, and I see this as the opportunity. This is my epic moment. Just like in the movies, you know? I could have walked into there, read powerfully from the Bible. I could have owned the moment. And I would have said something like, at the end, you know, finish up the Bible, see, and then say, "I've had a good run. It's time for me to move on. Goodbye." And then triumphantly walk out of there. But did that happen? No, because for once, I followed the rules. And I asked Ducky, "Can I go read in chapel?" And he said no. The room. And hear for the first time my mother crying. And I felt bad. And then my father said, the only thing he said, "You've embarrassed me professionally." And I felt ashamed. So to save face, even though we couldn't afford it, they sent me off to TCS. And I actually did well. I got pretty good marks. I got a French award. Suck it, Francis. And finished up, you know, getting my diploma, receiving my diploma. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief when I got that diploma. The same diploma that Juliet would get 28 years later. And it was touching because my wife and I looked at her and thought, she's overcome so many obstacles, she's achieved so much, and we're really proud of her. And the diploma was handed to her by the headmaster, Stuart Granger, who happened to be one of my classmates when I was in high school. And no, it was those moments when you look back and think this is the right thing. She's really earned all the accolades that she's received. She's received this the attention she deserves. But come on. We're all adults here, right? Let's admit it. If I hadn't slept with Lisa Kaiser, this led directly to her getting a scholarship. I know what you're saying. I know you're saying, don't take all the credit, Mike. And I'm trying, right? But it was a selfless sacrifice that I made for the future of my daughter's future. Juliet, you're welcome.